Hey, this is Aaron Duchateau, and here's another little demo of mapping application I've been working on. Go ahead and log in since this is a web application real quick. Here we are at our splash screen, and we're going to scroll down to Oregon. And right now we have Douglas County, Jackson County, Josephine County, and Lane County. I'm going to go ahead and choose Lane County. And now here we are in our main map view. So since I made my last video, there are a few changes here, and it's starting to get interesting, in my opinion, because you can query this tax lot data in more interesting ways than you could before. So we've got this little drop down over here now. It's a new thing, and can go ahead and choose acreage, and I'm going to go ahead and choose all tax lots in Lane County between 425 and 450 acres. I'm going to go ahead and click search. And now, rather than just interacting on a per parcel way or searching by address or latitude and longitude, you can start to see the breadth of the results that you can get back. These are all of the properties in Lane County that fall within that acreage query. You can see how fast the map is loading here. And you'll notice that when the map initially loaded, we had all of those tax lots listed, and I have threshold control set up now so that we can actually zoom out, basically to observe the entire United States. And as we zoom back in, go into one of these properties here, you can see that the plat lines actually sort of fill in. So here we are zoomed out, and as we get to the threshold, our plat lines appear, and we're able to interact with them just like we could before in the other video. So I'm going to go ahead and select this property, and just like before, we go into our detail view here, and we have the detail view of the property and all the tax lot data associated with it. I was thinking about a good way to handle the fact that this data can be variable in length. So my temporary solution at this point is I added a little list view toggle here, so you can go ahead and give yourself a little more real estate there with this toggle view between grid and list, because there is a lot of data here, and you might not necessarily want to view it stacked up next to each other like this. If we go back to query mode, we can start to see another way that this gets interesting, because I've added not only the ability to search by tax lot ID, but also by owner. So if we want to go ahead and search for a powerhouse in Eugene, a family like Lands that owns a lot of property, go ahead and click search, and we're going to see the map zooms out again, and the bounds are adjusted to pretty much accommodate all of the search results. And as we zoom in, we can see the Lands Cabinets Empire, and we can just sort of arbitrarily zoom in on one of these properties here. This looks like a pretty nice home with a big backyard. And oh, well, this is interesting. The light query was doing its job. Lanzarota. So because Lands was inside of the Lanzarota name, that turned up in the search results. which I think is a good thing. So let's zoom out a little bit more and try to find property that's actually owned by the Lands Family Trust. So click on this guy right here. Oh, Lands Joint Trust right there. Cool. 386K. The acreage is 0.29. Can click full information, and now again our map is going to automatically adjust to the bounding view of that property and center it for us here nicely in our detail view. So some other stuff I've been doing is really trying to make the platform Google agnostic as much as possible, because if they change their API or their fee structure or whatever, I want to have fallbacks for the basic layer data that I'm interacting with. So now you can see we have a lot more options in terms of the base layer here. So if I want to see Bing's version of the map, boom, got that right there. Go back to Google Hybrid, Google Satellite, that's just hybrid without the street names basically. We've got the Google Terrain View, the Google Road Map, and then here I'm getting the MapQuest satellite imagery, which, as you can see, isn't as good as Google. It's sort of blurry here when you zoom in, but if you zoom out, it's all right. The Esri world imagery is proving, in terms of open source satellite imagery, proving to be pretty good. It's pretty comparable to Google. The zoom threshold isn't quite as high, but if we toggle between the Esri world imagery, which doesn't obviously charge a fee, and Google, it's pretty close in terms of detail, and just in terms of the quality of the satellite imagery here. So, sorry, I'm getting notifications from work here. Cool. So let's see what else is new. If we go into letter view now, for setting off a letter of inquiry, the letter's been updated a little bit in terms of the content. I got rid of a lot of the superfluous data, so if we go ahead and go into print, we're going to see just the letter and just the map. And of course this could be adjusted too based off of the selection that you make here for topography, which in this case is pretty boring because this is flat. We'll go to road mapped, so it'll have some stuff on it, and just sort of prove that when we go to print, the map is going to be updated in the print view as well. As always, in detail view, you can go ahead and save a property by clicking the save icon here, and then when you go back, you've got this left-hand column that represents your saved areas, and the map is automatically going to adjust to that which you have saved. So again, to prove that out, we can go in and choose a different property and save it real fast. Really happy with how fast the data is loading here, given the amount of tax lots. As you can see that I drag, it just populates all in. And if you recall before in my previous video, we were only able to deal with part of Lane County because the county was so large. So now we've got the entire county. It's all queryable, and it loads fast. So we'll go into full information here for this guy, and we'll go ahead and save it. Oops, that was print. Floppy disk is saved. There we go. Little notification pops up and says it's been saved. And now we've got our second lands property that's been saved here, and now we can sort of toggle between these two with ease. Address, you still search for that the same way. And in terms of basically what I realized while I was building this out from an architectural standpoint is that um, normally this right-hand pane here was sort of supposed to be the search playground. In other words, it wouldn't be saved when your session ended or when you logged out. And what I'm realizing is that in terms of producing results sets here, if the query in question is supposed to produce more than one result, or it can produce more than one result, I'm probably going to need to allow for result sets to populate this area that basically represent a listing of the query. So if I was to search by address, we'll go to my parents' house real quick. It's my mom's house. We see that we have another result set here in the search playground, and this sort of allows me again to sort of toggle between um, an older search query that I didn't save and the newer one. So the point I'm making is that when I go into owner, or I go into acreage, and we have the ability to produce a crap ton of result sets. I obviously can't just store one description of the query here that would represent all the results, because it wouldn't fit and it wouldn't make sense to look at it. But when we do search and get a crap ton of results, oops, like this, I'm planning on basically having another node come up here that would say something like search between these values. And if you didn't want to interact with the data by zooming in the map view, and you wanted to drill into the search results, you would click it over here, and either an info window or a dialog or something like that would pop up, and you would be able to then search through the results set for acreage and drill down more specifically in the results set, and then click on one of those results, and that would navigate you in view mode here to that data. Also happy with the speed of the query and how that's coming along. You can see the breadth of results we have here in Lane County for acreage between 425 and 475, and it's really quick. So anyway, hopefully you can kind of see the direction I'm going here. Still a lot of UI concerns and a lot of implementation concerns to figure out, but still plugging away on it, and it is getting more robust by the day. Thanks for watching.